Hello, everyone. We're going to be starting soon. I'm very excited to have you join me. I'll be sharing the screen shortly, so would love if someone would enter in chat to let me know that you can hear me all right. So bear with me. We'll be getting started very soon. So welcome, everyone. Can you please, someone just put in chat to let me know whether you can see the first page of the webinar and if you can hear me all right. This is Susan Briggs, and I'm excited to have you join me for our webinar today. You should be able to find the chat box on the right side. So if you, there I see Amber, hello. Can you hear me? And see the screen okay? Want to welcome everybody. Yay, Christine can hear and see me. Thank you. Yes, Alicia, thanks very much. Thank you, Jessica. It's always nice to have confirmation, especially since my assistant Jamie is having power issues. I'm trying to go solo, so appreciate your patience with me, as I'm used to depending on Jamie to do a lot of this. I'm gonna have to do everything. Okay, Maria, Corey, yeah, you probably won't see me, but hopefully you can see a picture of the first page of the slideshow. If not, does anybody know or have a tip on how she might be able to find that? Okay, everybody's good. We'll be getting underway in just another minute, so I'm excited to have you guys all join me. Good. Everybody can see the screen and hear me, so that's great. We're going to take that as a win today. So where are you guys joining me from? I'm here in Houston, Texas. A little bit rainy. We just had a storm go through, but hopefully that's not going to provide interference here. So we'll be getting underway in just another minute. Oh, we got somebody from Michigan. Hi, Alicia. We got Austin, Wisconsin, Illinois. We got the central part of the country covered here. Oh, Atlanta, great. Well, Maria, I should send Jamie to your house. That's where Jamie is, where she lost power. New Jersey. Is that Hawaii? Well, this is fun. That's one of the things I love about webinars, is that we can all get together. Kirsten's from San Angelo, Durham, North Carolina is where Donna's from. So good, we're getting some more folks on the East Coast. Mike's in Chicago, so I think that's just the wonder of webinars, that we can get together and hang out for an hour together all across the country and world. So I'm really happy to have you guys join me. And we're gonna get started here right away, since it's Apple time 1 o'clock, and we'll get underway. Our presentation today is focused on how you can make more money and work less. So I'm going to be sharing today 3 business secrets that I learned when I took my recent vacation to Antarctica. I've always been a pretty productive worker and was good at taking vacations. However, this experience turned out to be totally different for me, because I did unplug fully for 2 full weeks. And I kind of managed my pre and post trips differently than I ever had before. And even I was surprised at what a difference this made in the enjoyment of my trip. So you're in the right place if you wish there were more time in the day, that you find yourself wishing there was another day in the week, and You just don't ever seem to have enough time, because unfortunately time is finite and it's equal for all of us. So it's really how we use our time that differs. And my goal today is to help you get better results by working smarter. You're in the right place today if you also sometimes feel stuck, that you're staying in the same place and not progressing like you would like to in your business. You possibly feel frustrated because you work hard, yet you don't feel the forward momentum that you would like. And this can be in your business, your personal goals, health, relationships. We're going to be talking about how you can get unstuck and really make the forward progress that you're looking for. You're also in the right place if you feel like you start with a plan and specific results in mind, but suddenly life happens and your plan gets thrown out the window. So if you have a vision to move your business or career forward, or maybe even totally change direction and starting a new business, but don't find the right time to implement your plans, what we'll cover today will help you there as well. So I'm excited to have so many of you join me, and just a little bit of my background for those of you that don't know me. And I want to share that I did start Urban Tales with some partners. It was a large multi-service pet center in Houston, Texas back in 2000, and grew the sales of that business to over $1 million before selling it in 2012. So currently I'm the owner of Crystal Canine and also a partner with the Dog Gurus and Robin Bennett, where we provide resources and training to do off-leash play or doggy daycare right. And then last year, I was also co-founder, and I'm now serving as president of a nonprofit, the Professional Animal Care Certification Council, and we're bringing certification to the pet services industry. But going to Antarctica was a really big deal for me because I grew up in a tiny town in the Midwest, in Northeast Missouri is where I'm from, and it was a middle-class family, and all of our travel and vacations was in a pickup camper. But I really did love these adventures that we took every summer. And when I graduated college, I moved to Houston as an accountant, and I never really found my niche in the corporate world. And so when I had my second corporate buyout opportunity, I decided to join the pet industry with 2 other partners. And then when I sold my business, I really decided to focus on what I love to do, which was training and helping other business owners. But the one thing that I wanted in this third career was really to have a better balance between work and my personal life. So I still keep a lot of balls in the air, but I've spent the last 4 years really perfecting a business model where I can make more money by working less and working very efficiently. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. I am going to be sharing a lot of Antarctica photos. So if those don't keep you to the end, I want you to know that there is going to be an opportunity to get a free bonus worth over $30 at the end. Delegating effectively is one of the key steps that I found in working smarter. And I know as entrepreneurs, it can be really hard to let go of control and delegate work like we really need to. So I've created a guide that focuses on this challenge that's available as a bonus. So let's jump into today. Our content today is really focused on how to work smarter, and everybody is busy. In fact, it seems like we wear our busyness as a badge of honor. The question is, what are you busy doing? Will it move you closer to your ultimate goals? And really, productivity is a choice we make. We have the power to choose how our days go, and every decision we make either contributes to us being more productive or serves as a distraction that may just keep us busy, but not necessarily productive in the stuff that matters. So as we said, time is the one resource that's finite, and we all have the same amount of time. We can't create more of it. So it's important to keep in mind that every choice that you say yes to means that you're saying no to something else. So today we're going to learn about how you're going to be able to get unstuck, organize your workflow, and really create a team that produces. Because my Antarctica adventure would not have happened if I had not found a way to get unstuck and achieve my financial goals. It didn't take me long to realize that to make this trip a reality, I needed to increase my productivity and get help with my business. So I'm going to share tips on how I made all that happen. So I really started out by looking at my business out model and how I'm spending my 2,080 hours after I sold my pet care business. As a consultant, you typically charge by the hour, and I didn't feel that that model was going to help me meet my goals of balance, that it was going to take too much time and not really let me have the free time that I wanted. So I kind of started with the big picture to create a business model that was going to not only meet my business goals, but also my personal goals. So I really recommend that you start with looking big picture. How do you want to spend your 2,080 work hours that you have, or more than that, likely if you're an entrepreneur? And so really look at your opportunity. Get really clear on the life goals that you have, of how that aligns with your business model, and then define the role that you want to have in your business. So the question that I came to next was, really, how can I make more money and work less? And so this question drove me to figure out how to be more productive. And I decided I needed to study people who had found success and get tips from them. So two of the people that wrote success books that I studied were Jack Canfield and Robert Holden. They're both authors of success books, and I actually got the opportunity to attend seminars that both of them taught. And a lot of this came together for me after attending and learning from them how all these pieces fit together for not only financial success, but work-life balance. The one thing that I found was that successful people are very clear on their goals and what success means to them. And sometimes when we're not clear on that, or we don't step back and take the time to get clear, that's what will keep us stuck where we are today. So the first step is to get clear on what you want for your life and what motivates you to do what you do. And this sounds like a simple question, but really the answer requires some honest self-assessment. It's a very personal decision. So this is not a place to compare yourself to anyone else or to anybody else's business, but to find the motivator that keeps you focused when the road gets bumpy. And for me, money to have money was not a motivator. And I think that's where I was kind of stuck. When you really love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. And it was easy for me to work 6 or 7 days a week and not really make the money for the hours I was putting in. So you can spend a lot of time for too little pay, which really in the long run leads to resentment, which was something I learned with my Urban Tales business. We just didn't have the volume to support 3 partners, and I didn't want to make that mistake again. So I was looking for another motivator. And one of the books I read talked about finding your BHAG, or big, hairy, audacious goal. And that became a great motivator for me. And I got there when I followed one of the exercises in Jack Canfield's book of creating a bucket list. And he recommended that you have 100 items on your bucket list. So let that sink in for a minute. Think about there being 100 items you want to experience before you die. And I learned the value of that pretty soon, because it's hard to get to 100. I'm not there yet. But what I found when I started writing down 100 items, that I started to think and dream much bigger than I normally did. And so I like to travel, and soon I ran through all my normal vacations. And that's when Antarctica made my list, because I love penguins. So why not go to Antarctica? I needed some more things on my bucket list. And that, in hindsight, is such an important part of this process that I recommend you kind of write it down now, to really focus on creating your bucket list and dreaming big. And that's something that I think is very unfortunate, that for a lot of us, I love this quote, the danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. And I think that's very true, especially as I studied both of the success mentors. They both kind of had this theme. And that was definitely something I was guilty of. I would never have gone on this Antarctica adventure, because I'm from a small town in Memphis and I don't like the cold. So why would I go to Antarctica? So there's a lot of power in thinking big taking off limits, and really dreaming. So I hope that's something that you'll start to do after this webinar today. Now, I also have a warning that life is kind of funny. When you write down your goals and start to dream big, opportunity is going to knock. So really be ready to take action, because shortly after I put my list together, my friend Jeff calls and asked me to go Antarctica with him in January of 2016. So this was only a year and a half away. And he said, you know, we could get a cabin upgrade if we paid our deposit that year. And so that was my clear call to action. How strong was my commitment? Was I really going to go to Antarctica now that I had this opportunity? Honestly, I didn't have the money to pay for the full trip cost. So this was a leap of faith when I paid that deposit, that my business and myself could make Antarctica happen to me in about a year's time. So my tip is to really be ready once you do commit to your big, hairy, audacious goal, and that taking action is very important. So think about what is the first step or maybe the next step you need to take so that you get unstuck and start making positive movement to achieve your goal. So the first thing that I figured out was I needed to make more money to pay for this Antarctica trip. So I, in my business, needed to create some new products and programs that I could sell. But this was going to be work I needed to do on top of my current responsibility. So how could I find more time? I was already working, 6 days a week. So I started to look at my personal work habits and see what I could learn from productivity experts so that I could be better organized in my work. And what I learned was most of the productivity people said, the first thing you need to do is determine, are you doing the right work? And what that means is, are you doing the work that can only be done by you and your business? And so for me, that was going to be creating these new products and programs. But secondly, it was also spending more time doing the marketing strategy to grow my business, and then also the financial management to make sure that my sales were increasing and I was making a profit. So think about, are you spending your time in the right things in your business or career to meet your big, hairy, audacious goals? Are you doing things that is in your genius zone and only that you can do? So it's important to take control. Only you can decide to make a change and to get unstuck. And so that's what I decided to do. I had too much on my plate and I knew I had to make a change. And so it was time for me to go ahead, take control of my schedule, my priorities, and workflow. And one of the secret weapons that I found was that power of using the word no. Too often we feel that saying no is not nice, and then suddenly our plate overflows with stuff that's not our own priorities. And so this all changed for me in my business when I took control of my own time and calendar and decided to put priority on the work that only I could do, that work that's in my own genius zone. So if I was going to be doing that work, I needed to create a team that would help me get the rest of this work done, because it was still important to my business. And that's when I decided that I was going to have to hire help. And that can be really hard when you're a small business owner, because you may not have that revenue yet to pay for it, but it's important for you to reach your goals. And so I had to do some adjustment to my budget so that I could pay for help now. And I understand how much of a scary step that is, but it's really important. It's one, when you have the right motivator and the goal that you're wanting to achieve, that you and your team together will get there. So the next step as an entrepreneur is deciding what and you need to delegate. And so the place you should start is by delegating the work you don't like. Like, I don't like to do the technology stuff, maintain the website, and all that kind of work. And so that was one of the first things that I loved having help with. And I see that Jamie, my partner's made it online, which is very reassuring to me, because she handles all that so much better than I do. And she also serves my clients better. So I delegated that work to her. And then look for things that others can actually do better than you. I know sometimes it's hard to admit that we can't do things the best, but I've had people help me do some design work that just has blown me away, which is something I love to do, but there are people that are better at it than me. And I think the other key thing is to determine the value of your time, and anything that you can have done for less than the cost of the value of your time, you should delegate. And think about not only in your business delegating things, but things personally at home. I do have help that helps me keep my house clean in our yard, because for Bill and I, we can pay someone, they do a better job, and they enjoy doing it, and it's at less value than if we would spend that same 1 or 2 hours doing our business work versus that work. So look for things that will you can pay for and have someone help you do it that's cheaper than the value of your time. And then figure out to build a team. And I've got a team of 2 virtual assistants. One of them helps me with social media and marketing, because as much as I need to do the marketing strategy, I don't have to do all the writing all the emails or posting them in my email system. I can get help doing that kind of work. I've also studied and learned a lot from marketing experts as to how to be most efficient in my marketing. So, you know, extra learning and actually having people help you to where the time you spent is most efficient and effective is a great way to build your team and have more help. And then look at other support. In the global economy and digital world, we have great access to freelancers, and I use these a lot as well. Fancy Hands is a great resource that only costs $30 a month, and I use them to do a lot of research online, because you know how easy it is to get distracted when you're doing online research. So that's one of the ways I keep myself from getting distracted, is I have Fancy Hands do all my internet research, and then they just come back and give me options that I can then choose from. So it's a great way to get support and help. Upwork is another great resource I want you to write down, because Upwork is kind of a community of freelancers, and they can do design work, they can edit videos, they can write copy. You can get accounting, bookkeeping help. You can get just about anything you can think of. I would look and see if you can find someone on Upwork. And some of these jobs you can get done real affordable. With the Dog Gurus, we need some data entry work done as we were changing websites. And we got someone to copy and post 25 different articles on our new website for less than $15. It was just crazy affordable. So these are great resources that can help you free up your time, and it doesn't cost a lot. And then the other support member of my team that was really important for me is I was setting these big goals and really wanting to achieve a lot, was I did hire a kind of life and business coach that knew what my goals were and would help hold me accountable to reaching them. And that was another big part of my success in this process. And then technology. I wouldn't be where I am today without using and taking advantage of technology. Now, I'm not a big technology fan. In fact, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with technology, but I appreciate when it works well what it can do for me. And so I really focused on getting the best marketing technology that my business could afford that would save time and be most efficient. I use technology for my calendar, task management, project management, email management, and all of this allows me to create a system that I trust so that I don't have all these things I'm trying to remember in my head. Getting everything out and into a system is really important for you to stay creative and able to solve problems and move your business forward. So now my workflow does include using Google Calendar, because it syncs across all my different devices, and plus Jamie has access to it and can help me with my scheduling. I use a free program called Remember the Milk for task management, and I use this not only for my business tasks, but also tasks in my personal life. I have recurring appointments set up to get my car washed, to buy dog food and defrost food for my dog. So anything that I have a tendency to forget gets put into my task management system, so I don't have to rely on remembering it. I also use Trello. It's another free tool to do project management. So for my task list, I just put in what's ahead of me right away, but I do have some projects that are multiple steps that I put into Trello. But the best thing I did was get SaneBox, and that I do pay for, but this is an email management program, and that's what that little chart on the left represents. And I did this right before I went to Antarctica because I didn't want to come back to 3,000 emails after being gone for 2 weeks. And this was just amazing. If you look in that chart, the dark blue are the emails that were important that I would read on a regular basis. The light blue is the total number of emails I get. So you can see that there's really just a very small percentage that are considered important. And SaneBox figures all this out for you. So now when I started using SaneBox, I went from waking up in the morning to 75 or 100 emails in my inbox to 12, definitely less than 15. And mentally, that is just so freeing when you start your day and don't feel like you've got 100 things you got to do. It's less than 15. It's very doable. The other thing I've done in my workflow process is definitely set boundaries and eliminate distractions so that when I'm focused and working, I get a lot done in much less time. So the final step to really achieving my work balance and meeting my real vacation was to look at my business in terms of the systems that work together. Because once you have a team, they need the strong systems so that you can ensure consistency in delivering your business services. And this is when the benefits really become a reality of having an effective business that will operate without you. So I really focus not only on my marketing and financial systems, but also putting in place, good customer service system, good operational delivery, and all of that to make my dream come true. So the results of all this work was that from the time I had made the decision to go to Antarctica, my revenue increased in my business 28%. I put together 2 budget products and workshop during that time, implemented a really sound marketing system, and also created a new course and program called My Successful Pet Business. And on top of that, I started the nonprofit that I talked about earlier. So I ended the year really happy with the business results. But what was interesting, I was equally happy with my personal life. I did take some trips when when Bill was traveling overseas. I was able to go with him. Plus, we like to spend a week at the beach, which is close to here in Houston. So the dogs and I and Bill went to the beach for 2 weeks. I focused more time on my gardening. I wasn't working 6 or 7 days a week. I took Sundays off. And then I started to say yes when friends invited me to do things and spent more time with family. So not only was I successful in my business, I also felt like I had reached a lot of my personal goals that I wanted that year. And I really did love Antarctica. The adventure was more than I expected in terms of the wildlife experiences and the gorgeous landscapes. But I also loved what it taught me about balance and real vacations and how to draw boundaries. Because you see, I decided to block the full month of January as I really wanted to enjoy this special bucket list adventure. So I knew I needed time to prepare for my trip and recover afterwards. And so I did that. Plus, I disconnected from my business for 2 full weeks. No email, text, or phone. And that was really heaven. Until you do it, you don't realize the drain. Just staying connected to your business, reading a few emails or checking in on the business reports has on you mentally. You're still tethered to your work. And so that was, I think, very refreshing to me, how wonderful it was to totally get away for 2 weeks and not think about work. And I was so excited when I got back. Thanks to Jamie and SaneBox, I only spent an hour getting through my emails before I came back online to the work. And then the bigger surprise was we did decide to do a product promotion and course launch while I was gone and on vacation. And so my business had successful sales while I was gone. So everything that I had worked to put in place as a system so my business could operate without me and I could be efficient all worked. In addition to all these tangible results, I've got some intangibles from this process as well. And mainly that's the faith and confidence when there are bumps in the road that I can get through them. And my commitment to going to Antarctica was tested. It wasn't all smooth sailing because the price of oil really dropped. And that's what Bill's profession, his business supports the oil and gas community and industry. And so he had his worst year ever right before I was wanting to go on this trip. So I had to step in and contribute more to our household expenses starting in October, right before my last payment for my trip was due. So that took my savings for Antarctica. And so I could have canceled the trip, but I decided I wasn't going to do that because now I knew I had confidence in myself. I had confidence in my systems and team that in 2016, I could have a really good year and do even more in my business. And so I set more big goals for my business and have the confidence that I'm going to be able to achieve them. So now that I've accomplished my Antarctica dream and adventure, I needed a new big, hairy, audacious goal to keep me motivated. So now I've set my goal to have my own beach house. And these are the big dreams that are motivators for me to continue to move forward and make progress in not only my life, but in my business. But best of all, I've got 24 more hours a week because of the time-saving steps I implemented in delegating to my team and also figuring out how I could be more productive in my work habits. So now I spend most weekends taking at least one day off in my garden, and my work habits are always there. I continually have this extra time, so I'm able to spend more time with the people that matter in my life and even playing with my own pups. So if you feel like you're ready for more time with your own family and friends or pets, you're definitely in the right place with me here today. If you're ready to take your business to the next level and really get unstuck, I hope these tips today are going to help you do that so that you can serve more people and make more money and achieve your big dreams. And if you're ready to truly unplug from your business when you take time off and have a real vacation, if you haven't taken one, then you're in the right place. Because if I can do this, everybody can. The key is definitely to work smarter, not harder. You can definitely skyrocket your productivity when you have a motivating goal that you're working towards and the right tools. You may not reach 24 hours a week, but think about what if you reached 8. So I'd love for you to just to kind of think right now and maybe make some notes. What would you do with extra 8 hours a week in your schedule? Think about the positive impact it might have on your business, your relationships, and maybe even your own health. Because I know when you get super busy, often the first sacrifice you make is exercise and your own self-care. And those are both definitely important to healthy, long life, which I think all of us want to have. So write down how you would spend an extra 8 hours each week. What could you do in your life? And you've got options. Hopefully I've inspired you to think about how you can set some big goals and be more productive. There's definitely a lot of books on productivity and mentors out there that can help you do that. But this is something I've worked on for about 4 years, and I'm really happy to kind of show you the system that I use that can be adjusted to fit your own personal situation in less than 3 months. So I invite you to join me in an online course I produced and created based on these lessons called Plan, Produce, and Play. It's time management skills and productivity tips. And it's all based on a simple 7-step action plan that you can follow. The first, what I want you to do is be able to skyrocket your productivity and really enjoy the life that you want to have, not only personally, but also with your business, and that everything fits together. I'm a firm believer that adventure is our reward for the 2,080 hours plus that we spend a year being responsible in our businesses. And want you to accept those rewards and really unplug and enjoy your life at the same time. So if you're ready to do that, then the first step is to get clear on the work that you do. What is your genius zone, and where should you be spending your time in your business so that you can achieve your goals? The second step in the process is to organize your workflow, physically and digitally, so you are more efficient when you're at work. The third step is really looking at how to improve your time management skills so that you don't get distracted, so you're working on the right priorities in the right order. And then there's a lot of tips and secrets to managing tasks, projects, and meetings so that you are more productive in less time. And all of those get covered in step 4. And then having healthy habits that increase your energy is another important thing to being more productive, and not being tired all the time. Having clear mental focus is really important. And so we talk about that in step number 5. And then step 6 is setting boundaries, knowing when to say no and how to overcome distractions so you do produce more that's in line with your priority and work. And then 7 is focused on establishing those priorities and making the decisions that support your success and dreams and goals. So when you implement this 7-step action plan, you will end up creating a personal work plan that you will have every year to follow and be more productive. You're going to increase your energy. You'll spend less time working. You'll take regular days off and hopefully go on real vacations that are meaningful and rewarding to you. So in addition to the course, you get over $100 in free bonuses when you register. We talked about your guide to delegating for success. You get that workbook. You also get an inside peek to the annual planning process that I use, which is one of the ways that I stay focused on my priorities is I document those every year before the year starts. So I know what I want to say yes to. It has to be on my plan. And then we created a team version of this course. So if you have a team of people in your business that would benefit, then we've created a leader guide that will help you train them to go through the course and be more productive also. So we have a fast action bonus for a short time. We're offering early bird pricing on both programs, $99 for individuals and $299 to train teams of 5. And this early bird offer will end in 24 hours. And if you sign up as an individual, you get 3 months of access to the course. And if you sign up as a team, you actually get 12 months. So you don't even have to have all your team members start right away. It can be people you add later that can join the course. And for teams, just think about if you and 4 other people became more productive and each one of you gained 4 or 8 hours in your week, what would that mean to the productivity of your business? And so that's why we put this together as a team program, is so that you could really get that extra boost of productivity in your business. So if you want more information or are ready to register for the course, you can just go to this URL. It's crystalcanine.com /plan, produce, and play. And I think we will be able to put that in the chat box so that you can see that as well there and just link directly. And actually there's no risk because there's nothing to lose. The philosophy we have here at Crystal Canine is we want all of our clients to be satisfied with their products and programs they buy from us. So there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied with the course and you've went through 3 lessons in Module 1, then we will give you a full refund, no questions asked. So there's really nothing to lose. And all of this has a value combined with saving 4 hours a week, actually in excess of $5,000 when you look at the value of the course and your time that you're going to save. And so you may wonder, why is the course priced as it is? And as a consultant and speaker in this industry, so many times I hear from people, the reason they aren't going to seminars, the reason they aren't moving their business forward is they just never seem to have enough time. So it's really important to me to put this out and make this available in the pet industry, especially, or to anyone that just is really serious about reaching goals, wanting to do more, wanting to have a better life balance, but feel stuck. I wanted this to be affordable so you could get better work habits and then have the opportunity to move your business forward, get better work-life balance, and just be more fulfilled. And so the 7-step action guide is actually covered in modules during the course. So the module 1 lessons focus on creating your plan, which is the work that you're going to do, how to get yourself organized, getting better time management skills, and better handle on managing tasks, projects, and meetings to be more productive. So you will learn how to take control of your email, set up a calendar, and drive each day efficiently, and also hold productive meetings so that you don't have so many interruptions and distractions. The second module lessons work on actually putting everything in from module 1 into action to where you're actually producing. And plus, you'll also be looking and focused on creating healthy habits for yourself, setting those boundaries and overcome distractions, and then prioritizing. You'll set up new habits for success long term. And then in module 3, you will focus on play, rewarding yourself and your team for the achievements. I think a lot of time we get so focused on the work, we don't stop and look at how much we do achieve and really celebrate our achievements. And we don't take enough time off to relax, recharge, and have fun. And that's where you rebuild that energy so that you can be more productive. And so it's a little sad that we had to have a module 3, but I think it's really important. I don't want you to feel guilty for taking time off, because that really is your goal so that you can recharge. So the way our online courses work is you will get immediate access after you register to a course dashboard. There's a welcome video that orients you to the program, and you get immediate access to the delegation guide. And then all the modules are right there. And so you can get started right away in module 1. There's video lessons you watch, and then a course handbook that you can take notes and actually do exercises to help you implement the material in your own life. And then there's other resources that we link you to that will help you implement the program. And once you work through the lessons in module 1, you can go on to module 2 and then module 3. And at the end, you can work through at your pace, but you can get through the program in less than a month and have a more productive workflow process and have more hours in your week for either getting more work done or some time off, enjoying a hobby, whatever is important to you and your own goals. So I want you to register for the program that best fits your needs, whether that's individual or team. And again, you can do that at the URL on the screen. And if you register now, what will happen is you will choose on the page whether you want individual or team, like the image shows. And then you'll complete your card information. And then after that, you're going to get 3 emails. You're going to get a receipt for your order. Then you're also going to get an order confirmation. And then the third email is going to give you the course access details, which is your user ID and password to actually get to the course dashboard. So make sure you watch for all 3 of those emails. So that finishes our presentation today. I'm happy to answer your questions for our remaining time. It could be questions you have about the content we covered on setting goals, being more productive, building a team, outsourcing, any of those things. I'm happy to answer questions. So let me see. Sarah's asking, would this course be helpful if you haven't opened your daycare? Sarah, I think it would. I think it would be a great way for you to set up some good work habits for yourself, even getting ready, as well as know how you could structure your team and draw some boundaries right away from the beginning. So I think it would be a great time to do it. So if you have a question, you can put it in the chat box. I'm happy to answer all of those. There was someone that had sent us a question that said they're not very tech savvy, and so wondered if they could still benefit from the course materials. And definitely yes. As I said earlier, I'm not super techie either, and I have a lot of productivity benefits that come just from getting organized and having better discipline. And I think the course gives you some easy technology tools to use that will help you kind of overcome some of the dread that you might have working with technology. But there's a lot of tips that work in just a manual paper process as well, so that you overcome distractions and procrastination, which are both big drains on our life. Okay, Corey's asking, is it all online or a workbook? It's both, Corey. The video lessons are online that you will watch, they're recorded, but the workbook is a PDF that you're able to print out and manually work in. And the like delegation guide is a workbook you can print out, and it also has exercises that you go through. Sarah's asking, what is the one or few things you wish you had delegated earlier on? And that's a great question, Sarah. For me, it was bookkeeping in my business. And the reason I didn't delegate bookkeeping in my business was because my early training was in accounting. So I felt like it was something that I could do and should do for my business. But what happened was I would spend my time doing the bookkeeping versus stepping back and analyzing the financial reports and even getting a budget in place right away. So I would have been better off having a bookkeeper do the daily entry so that my time working in the business on finances was at a bigger picture, analyzing reports. Someone's questioning that they've tried time management programs before and didn't have much luck. So why is this program going to work for them? Well, one reason you may be in a better place to make that commitment now and apply what you learn in the program. I also think you're going to find the 7-step action plan easy to use because it's more holistic than just a time management course. And I think a holistic program more likely sets you up for success. Corey's asking if once she finishes, can she still have access to the videos again? In the individual course, you will have access to the videos for 3 months. So if you get through the program in that first month, you can definitely implement tools. And then if you want to go back before the course ends at the 3-month timeline, you could go back through everything again just to refresh yourself on any additional tips you may want to implement. But you, of course, will have the download workbooks that you can keep forever. And if you sign up for the team version, then you get access to the videos for a year. So you can definitely go back through it multiple times. So you guys are asking great questions. I really appreciate that. And so we're being asked how we can just clarify a little bit about the team registration. When you register as a team, you get access to the full program now, and you will have access to it for 12 months. You can have your team members start with you now or wait and get them started after you're done. That's really up to you. And then you can add them just as you need to. They would just need to finish the course before your 12 months was up. And you do get a total of 5 people trained with a team registration. So it can be yourself and 4 other members. Someone's asking, is it important to complete the course in sequence? We do recommend you do that, but you don't have to. I definitely would complete the lessons in each module in sequence though. So again, if you have questions, you can put them into the chat box and I will answer them. Sarah's asking if this touches on anything about budgeting. And Sarah, this course does not. I actually do have some other products in my store that focus on budgeting, and I will be doing a budget webinar in October. So if you're on my list, you will get an invitation to that, and would love to have you join the budget webinar, because I do love to help people put in budgets. All right, so is there any other questions? You can definitely put them into the chat box. I'll get to them. The delegation guide is not available without buying the course. So right now, that's the only way you can get it. And it is a great tool that can help you with delegating. We don't cover all those how-tos in the course because there was a lot of other material, and so we put that all into the guide. All right, so what is the promo code? That is a great question. So to get your savings, the individual promo code to put in is SAVE30, SAVE 30. And if you want to register for the team, put in SAVE 50. And that's the code that you would need for that. Well, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. 14 years looking to rejuvenate. I think setting big goals, Corey, is the best way to get really re-excited about your business and your life. It really did it for me. So that's exciting. You know, this information that I've used, that I've put together is definitely something that I use, and I really do get excited about my bucket list. And the thing is I just stay so confident and focused on it that I know I'm going to have that beach house. And it may not be the way I initially thought, but it is just so empowering to feel like you can definitely get there. And that's what I love about getting all this together. You know, and it's a lot of fun to put that bucket list together. I would encourage you to do that with friends and family and share that. It's a fun thing to do. All right, so Jamie did put the codes in the chat box and pointed out that they are case sensitive, so you need to do all uppercase on save. And then save 30, save 50 to get the early bird pricing. And we would definitely love to have you guys join us in the course. I would love to hear about your big dreams and goals that you've set. It's always good to get them out there to someone so that you never know. You're going to get that phone call like I did from Jeff and say, are you ready to go? And then we'll test your commitment. So we had a question that I'm just not organized, so wonder if the course is something you should even try. And I think the course provides some great tips that will help you in your organization, which is a first step. So try it out. And remember, if you're not satisfied after the first 3 lessons, you can get a full refund in the first 30 days. And Jamie put the link up again that you can just use to link to and purchase right away. So we have just a few more minutes. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat box and I'll answer them. If not, we will end the webinar. I've got someone that's asking what's included in the extra bonus if I buy today. And you do get that delegation guide. It's really kind of a workbook with exercises that will help you become a better delegator. Plus you get the video training of an inside peek to how the annual planning process that I use for my business, which I also credit to being part of the reason why I'm achieving so much now in my business, in addition to these productivity improvements. And then the team registrants will also get a leader guide that's going to help you coach your leaders through the course. So I'm super excited and appreciate everybody being on today. I don't think we're getting other questions. So I will give it just a couple more minutes and then close the webinar down. But we definitely thank you for joining, and I'll stay on just a couple more minutes in case there are other last minute questions. But thank you for that. Sarah, send an email to me that on that question that you have. That's definitely something we can work with you on. So I'm open to that. So just send an email to info@crystalcanine.com. Well, I hope everybody has a fabulous rest of the day, and we thank you so much for joining.